Watch Dogs Legion. 4 things that we don't want and 5 that we do. Or at least 4 things that I don't want and 5 that I do. So, things that we want: characters with personality. In Watch Dogs 1, Aiden felt boring. The performance by Noam Jenkins was fine, he was pretty good actually, but the character himself, the script, were kinda empty. Sad really, because Aiden did have an emotional backstory that was explored a little bit, and the thing with Geordie, that was awesome. It's just that the character himself of Aiden was just a bit boring. Then in Watch Dogs 2, Ubisoft ramped up the personality meter to 11, with the main characters all behaving like bloody caricatures of themselves. True, there was, it was cheesy as hell, but there was something there. It was an improvement on Watch Dogs 1. So I'd love to see a kind of middle ground in Watch Dogs Legion where the characters have personality, but they're just not too over the top. Another thing we want: good British music. The variety of music that this game could contain is bloody huge. There are so many genres of music that are popular in Britain or were invented on the shores of Great Britain that just have never made it to the mainstream video game scene yet. They've been around for bloody decades, but they're just not in video games yet. Stuff like garage, grime, dubstep, original dubstep like Burial or Scream or Benga, not Skrillex. Drum and bass, UK drill, jungle, prog rock, UK punk, bloody loads more. Obviously these genres are already loved around the world, but there just hasn't been a AAA video game featuring them yet. This genuinely might be the main aspect of this game I'm looking forward to most. But who do you want to hear in the soundtrack? Please tell me below in the comments. Something else I want to see is consequences for shooting everyone. See, in Grand Theft Auto, the hero shooting everyone they see works because the whole game is meant to be this over-the-top, almost satirical look at criminals. It's comical, it's not realistic, it's supposed to be silly. Whereas Watch Dogs always try to put a mirror up to the world in a way. It almost tries to kind of teach you morals about technology or something like an episode of Black Mirror might do. You're supposed to look at the characters and feel that they could be you. You're supposed to think and go, what would I do in that situation if an evil company was spying on my family, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Therefore, when your Watch Dogs character shoots random people on the street, it just felt wrong. Hell, even when you shoot the cops, it felt wrong. It might feel different in Watch Dogs Legion because now this new company Albion looks all kind of evil and stuff, so hopefully. But yeah, we'll see. Let's just see some more kind of realistic reasons to not shoot everyone on the street. Another thing we want is British writing that kind of feels real. See, this is a tiny picky point by me, but I'm being really petty. So not only is Watch Dogs Legion set in London, but the Londonness is a central theme in the whole game. Watching the trailers, it shows that Ubisoft are really aiming for a setting that shows the landmarks, the gangsters, the royalness, the everyday person on the street angle, and I love that. Seriously, as a Brit, I'm well on board. But I just hope that they get the script and general aura done correctly, and so far it looks a little too much like a kind of American interpretation of Britishness. For example, we don't say construction worker, that's an American term. We don't say illegals, that's an American term. We don't all talk like either Michael Caine or Mary Berry. Some people talk on a kind of normal middle ground like Ricky Gervais or John Boyega or something like that. And no one better pronounce this as Southwark, because it's pronounced Southwark. Southwark. I know it makes no bloody sense. I just don't want the game to be like all these Netflix shows that claim to be set in England, but just use Britishness as a kind of quirky plot device and get it all wrong and lame and cringy. Another thing that I want to see is a shared universe with Assassin's Creed. Now personally, I love when storylines cross over. I love these moments where I go, oh, so she was the granddaughter of him, or oh, so that's the same company that built this technology and want world domination with this alien race, blah 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 blah. I love that stuff. So when there was that one mission in Watch Dogs 1 where you had to target the CEO of Abstergo Industries, which is the same evil company from the Assassin's Creed series, I was so on board. And even more references in Watch Dogs 2 as well. So personally, I'd love to see more of that in Watch Dogs Legion. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Things we don't want: an Assassin's Creed clone. I've said this in my storyline recap video for Watch Dogs. At times, the game really felt like an Assassin's Creed clone with just a new skin. The fact that you need to press a button at a tower to unlock portions of the map, the collection missions, the pursuit missions, the infiltration missions, the whole stealth system where you hide behind a corner, then lure a guard, then silently neutralise them, those bits were basically exactly the same as Assassin's Creed. Hell, even the whole theme of being an outsider, hidden in plain sight, that's hoping to uncover a secret conspiracy that's affected everyone in the city by joining another secret organisation, it's the same for both games. I realise that it's hard because the two games exist in the same universe with a shared storyline. Abstergo Industries is like Bloom, they kind of are the same thing. But damn, I hope Watch Dogs Legion distances itself from the gameplay of Assassin's Creed while keeping the same story. A Saints Row clone. Now, Saints Row started well, got better, then became a little too silly. A key rule for any story, whether it be movies, games, books, whatever, any amount of craziness can work as long as it's anchored in reality. When it's not anchored in reality, then it effectively becomes a cartoon, which is fine, that can be fine, but it will feel just like a constant slog of weirdness because there's nothing to compare it to. Saints Row became so insane with superheroes and travelling to literal hell that it felt like an exercise in the imagination of the game designers. Again, this is fine in a way, but it doesn't sustain attention. The crazy moments need to be in contrast to sane moments, otherwise they lose their effect. Another thing we don't want is an intrusive PvP mode. The original Watch Dogs had a player versus player mode of sorts. It actually felt kind of new and different, kind of fun. When turned on, it meant that a different player could appear in your game, somewhere on your map, and start to hack you. Then a timer appeared and you had so long to identify them before you failed. It was cool because they would appear as a generic NPC, and they would try hard to blend in by driving slowly or walking inconspicuously. Fun in small doses, but the problem was that, at least for me, there were moments where I just couldn't be bothered. Sometimes I'd have nearly zero health from just completing a mission and boom, looks like I'm getting hacked and shot at. Plus, turning it off meant that you'd lose a bunch of features in the game. I realised that this was a different period in the gaming industry, and a lot of AAA games were desperate to get gamers to play together online, with, the always online mentality. But we don't need that all or nothing thing anymore. It looks like Watch Dogs Legion is all about online gamers working together, so it should be fine. Should be. I say that because the next thing we don't want is getting swamped with griefers. Any MMO setting will undoubtedly attract griefers, or trolls, or whatever you want to call it. Basically people who only want to screw with your day simply because some people just want to watch the world burn. Any big online game like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, FIFA, Fortnite, GTA, I just hope that Ubisoft involves some kind of karma system that matches more unreliable players to more unreliable players, like what Catan Universe does. So what do you think? Do you agree with this stuff? Do you disagree? Tell me below, I'd love to hear what you think, but either way, I am bloody excited for Watch Dogs Legion. So this is Jam Punch, my name is George, and I'll see you next week.